Gentlemen and distinguished guests. My name is Marisa Drew, and I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer and Global Head of a group at Credit Suisse we call Sustainability Strategy, Advisory, and Finance. My group looks after sustainable business models, and we're often seeking those who approach seemingly intractable problems in the world with a fresh and innovative approach. Earlier in this conference, I had the great pleasure of welcoming an entrepreneur who was looking at the environment in a very new and different way in the Amazon. And today, I am absolutely delighted and honored to welcome two guests who are taking a look at a problem that plagues us around the world. It doesn't matter whether you're in a developed capital city or you're in a developing market. The idea of the great divide between those who have and have not in the space of affordable housing is something that really does plague us all around the world. And these two wonderful entrepreneurs have taken a completely fresh look at the notion of affordable housing and communities. And they're doing it right here live, making a massive, massive impact in Brazil, but also in other parts of the world. So it is my very, very great pleasure to welcome firstly Stefano Buono, who is the chairman of Planet Smart City. And Stefano is a businessman of the very traditional sort. He was CEO and founder of an imaging company, having been a nuclear physicist in his early years. And when he sold his company to Big Pharma, he's dedicated his life to delivering with impact in a sustainable way by finding business models that generate returns while also delivering that impact. And I'm also very, very pleased to welcome his CEO of Brazil, Susanna Marchionni. And Susanna has also had a traditional career of over 20 years in the real estate market. So with these two wonderful, really disruptive thinkers, we're going to dive into the concept of affordable housing around the world and smart cities. But first, we're going to share with you a little video to help bring the story to life.
To have the right version, right?
What a wonderful way to kick off the discussion. That certainly gives us a sense of the business and what it's about. So Stefano, may I just welcome you to the stage firstly to maybe kick off our conversation a bit. I think it's always helpful for people to understand the journey, what brought you from the world of nuclear physics to affordable housing. It's not typically the most linear career progression. And I think our audience would be very intrigued to know how you found, first of all, the concept of affordable housing as a place that you wanted to dedicate time and attention, but also what brought you to Latin America specifically. I know you're speaking to us from Brazil, so we pretty much have the globe covered today. But if you can share a bit of that journey with us.
Yes, of course. I was a researcher in the field of nuclear energy. And in 2002, we had the idea of developing one of the patents that had an application in nuclear medicine. So in another field, with respect to the one I was working in. So I founded in 2002 a pharmaceutical company that first addressed imaging in nuclear medicine, but then introduced a very significant change because we started to do therapy. And we registered a very successful drug in the field of neuroendocrine tumors. And this really changed the life of patients. So I kind of experienced very close how a business can be impactful on the life of people. And after the sale of the company, I had a discrete fortune. And I started to think on how to invest this money. And of course, the idea of making impact investment came to my mind. One of the first companies I met was Planet. Fortunately, I came back to live in Torino, in Italy, in my own country. And the people from Planet started their activity in Turin as well. Susanna is from Turin. So I had the opportunity to meet these people, and I realized that they were not only making an activity that had impact, but had a very huge degree of innovation, and I am an innovator as well. So I like the idea to combine impact with innovation in a completely new business model that maybe Susanna can explain a little bit later. And a model that could really impact the life of people. So maybe Susanna can introduce a little bit of what we do so that you can
Sure.
Understand a little bit what I meant.
Sure. Marisa, can I?
Please. We'd love it if you would introduce us to the company and also your journey a little bit, again, from traditional real estate, moving into the affordable housing space, which has been notoriously, admittedly, quite difficult. Many people have tried to participate in this space, and they face challenges of the ability to scale. They face challenges of being able to really serve the communities necessarily in the way that the vision perhaps originally was set out. And yet here you are doing it. So I'd love, I think, and I'm sure the audience would love to hear a little bit about your journey as well.
Thanks, Marisa, and thanks, everybody. As Stefano said, I'm Italian too, but I can say that I'm also Brazilian. I was adopted from this country that I love. I worked 24 years in the real estate market, and after, in 2015, my life totally changed. I'm speaking like as a co-founder of Planet with Gianni Savio, that always worked with me all my life. And I'm speaking with a CEO which is really Brazilian in this moment. Well, Planet, my beloved Planet Smart City, we are a PropTech company that is disrupting the affordable housing market. But first of all, we are changing people's life. We develop large-scale residential smart districts, and our business model is based on large, replicable, services-oriented smart formats. We integrate smart technology and social innovation into our neighborhoods, but our focus is one, always the same: people, people, people. I will repeat this word many times today. I would like to share with you a presentation because there are at the becoming some strong pictures I would like to share it with you, and after pictures of our project, because I should like to speak with you about impact with the people that work for me, that live in our project, and I would like to tell you their histories. So please let me share. Here we are. So, as I said, some strong image and some strong number. 3 million families worldwide live in houses like this. This is called the Monster in Hong Kong. I visited it some years ago. And these are social houses in India. This one is China. This one is Mexico. This is Nigeria. Vertical project in Russia. Here it is, my Brazil. And I pray you to see the infrastructure quality, the street, the parks, the shops, the children, the libraries, the cinema. Look at this. Every year, there are 10 million social housing units built all around the world. And 90% are exactly like this. Always the same problems. No urban planning, poor infrastructure, no technology, and no social innovation. And here it is, our idea, our solution. 6 bullet points. Innovative urban planning, smart infrastructure, smart technology, social innovation programs, free district app for residents, and care for the environment and sustainability. 4 pillars: planning, environment, technology, and people, always people. The houses may change, they may be different in Brazil or in India or in Italy or other countries, but the services are the same. And 80% of our futures are services oriented. And now let's start. Let's speak about impact, our impact. 4 goals: drive growth, improve people's lives, focus on purpose, attract aligned investors. Now, I would like to show a 20-second video that I love. This woman is called Nice. Nice is from São Gonçalo do Amarante in Ceará, our first project here in Brazil, and she's a hairdresser. Please, during the video, look at her face, look at her eyes, her voice, and after I will comment with you.
A gente que nasce na roça, a gente é muito discriminado por nascer ali. Nunca nos meus maiores sonhos eu imaginei estar numa cidade como essa. Então, assim, o que a Smart City proporciona para as pessoas, essa questão que independente... Então, assim, o que a Smart City proporciona para as pessoas, essa questão que independente de você ter... Então, assim, realmente é uma cidade para que todas as pessoas possam viver, independente de situação... Cidade para que todas as pessoas possam viver, independente de situação financeira, independente de qualquer coisa.
I know that after we'll change the video. So, speaking about impact, let me have a little joke of words. I know that impact is a top-down concept, but has to be a bottom-up process. And because living here, I knew many people. I come from the other part of the world. It was not easy at the beginning to intend Brazil, to understand people. And this is what I did in this year. I consider myself a Brazilian in this moment because I really knew people. And the history I'm going to show you, let you understand this real impact. This picture is the innovation hub of Smart City Laguna. It's a 1,000 square meters construction, which is the place where we have free library, free cinema, lessons, programs, and it is open. In Brazil, you already have to think that generally all the projects are closed. It means that they have a wall. we don't speak about inclusion. We speak about exactly the contrary, exclusion. And I always say, how can we generate impact if we start closing, if we start with a wall? So everybody speaking about Brazil will speak with you about security. This is the biggest problem we have in this moment in our country. And wall is not the solution. So this place is open for everybody. It's open for who is living in the smart city and for the neighborhood. This is a picture of the library. Here there are children which are our inhabitants and not. And becoming this hub is a problem because the fathers of the children don't let them go there because they say it's impossible that it's for free. We surely have to pay for this. So they don't want them to go. In this third project, me, together with my team, we went to the houses of these people, knocking the door, explaining it was for free. So now it's full of people of all the area. We have slum next to Smart City Laguna with children that speak English. Better than me, I think it's fantastic. This is the cinema. It's one of the best way to start dreaming. There are people who are not able to read. So cinema is the first way to see the world, to know new things, and for children, the opportunity to start dreaming. When I spend my time with them, I always sit down in a circle with them and I speak with them. I like to speak with children because they say the truth. They are not shy. They tell you what they really think. You understand the people. And many times I heard children without dreams. I will never forget Victoria. She told me, Tia Suzy, eu não tenho direito a sonhar porque eu sou pobre. It is, Tia Suzy is, Aunt Suzy is a nice way to speak with somebody. She told me, Suzy, I have no right to dreams. I'm poor. So you start thinking that the world is going on the contrary, that nothing works, that nothing makes sense. And what's happening now is that Victoria has dreams. I work with children with drugs problems and prostitution and things that sometimes I would like never have heard. And they start dreaming. Pedro dreams to buy his mother's house in Smart City. So he will study to do this. I know that sometimes I say strong things, but it's what's happening. I spoke with a 15-year boy with a gun in the pocket who said, my little brother, he's 5 years old, every Saturday comes here because he goes to the cinema and he will not do what I am. So for me, disease is to impact people and disease to build smart cities. Disease co-working, always in Smart City Laguna, because let's remember, COVID showed us that if you are connected, you can do everything. If you are not connected, you are outside. And unfortunately, many people of this customer of us are not connected. So this is how to start to be part of something, how to belong. Library of the things. It works like a library. Instead of books, we have other tools like this one for free. And remember, people don't use it only to do something in their house. They can make some small works and they can sell. It means that with this library of the things, we are able to generate income for inhabitants and for the area. Same thing, sewing workshop in Smart City Laguna. Shared bikes. Kinetic equipment, people can have exercise and to charge their telephone. I think that sometimes some of the solution may look normal for us, but remember all the pictures that I showed you some minutes ago. Shared kitchen, you can live in 50 square meters, but you may have a party with 200 people in the shared kitchen. Or you can organize a party and create and generate income again. Football pitch and playground. These places are beautiful. I'm proud when I show these pictures because when I go there, I'm happy. I stay in a place that I consider beautiful. Playground in Smart City Natal. Commercial pole in Smart City Laguna. We always work a concept of functional mix, I mean residential and commercial areas, because if you put them one next to the other, you have a better mobility and you have more security because there is life in the city 24 hours a day. All the pictures that I showed at the beginning are only houses. I think that as a construction company, we have a social impact so strong that we have different responsibility. We can't only build and sell. When we start selling houses, we start a second part of our work because we start building communities. A street, Wilson Simonal Street in Smart City Laguna, and look at infrastructure, the house, the gardens. People receive lessons and programs to try to take care of their gardens, of everything, and especially to start thinking that the house is not only this one, it's not these 50 square meters, it's what's in the front of it, it's the park, it's the street. One of the words that I must love, to belong. And people are doing it in our projects. This is another house in Smart City Aquiraz, other project. This is the Luna house. Here you can see the decorated version. It's interesting. We always make the decoration house spending 10% of the amount of the house. This house costs less more $35,000, and all this decoration and furnitures are made with $3,500 because people have the opportunity to replicate it, to do the same. And always remember the first pictures. Look at this and remember my first pictures. The garden of the house. This is the entrance of Smart City Laguna at night, and I think that you all think what I think. It's a beautiful place to live. And this is my team. This is a picture of the team in Smart City Laguna. And what's happening here with this team in Brazil is fantastic because they are understanding what they are doing. Paulo, that works with me since the beginning, always says, Susanna, maybe planet is changing the world, but me, Paulo, I am changing my Brazil. So Paulo is of the administration. He's in the office and he says, I am changing Brazil. I think that a better word couldn't be made because everyone, his part is a small piece of this big changing that we are making together. So I stop with pictures. I would like to come back here. But when I start speaking about the project, I drive crazy. I love what we're doing here.
No, it's absolutely wonderful. Your passion absolutely and 100% comes through. And I must say,
something.
Yes, of course.
Susanna said. What is very interesting from an investor point of view, because I'm first an investor into the company, is that we created all of these houses and they're sold at the same price. This is affordable housing, so the prices are fixed. So just creating new places with a completely different approach, but they can be still very profitable. The change has been the scale. Today, we have, for this year, we have 170,000 units that have been built. Half of them are in India as well. So what we try to do is that, we have a successful format But we need to replicate worldwide this format if we really want to have a huge impact on people. And that's why we decided to build a very big company, to make a lot of investment and enlarge the activity of the company as much as possible, because we found a nice way to impact the life of people, and we have to replicate as much as possible. And the only way to replicate is also that is profitable. And all of these services that are proposed are free, but we will be also offering services later that create a revenue stream that goes beyond the real estate aspect of the business, and allows to maintain a high degree of profitability and to replicate as much as possible this business model everywhere.
Well, Stefano, I mean, that is exactly the tenet of impact investing in my mind, is that otherwise it's philanthropy. If you want to have a sustainable business model, it's got to be profitable. But this idea, this notion that you can make this kind of an impact on people's lives that Susanna is so passionate about, while also generating a great return for investors, to me, that is the holy grail. And that's why this whole impact investing theory is taking hold in the minds of our clients and the investment community, and why it's also scaling. But I'm really struck by the cost equation here. I mean, when you look at that picture, Susanna, of that decorated home, and you realize that the home was built for $35,000 US, and the design is $3,500 US. It's shocking. I mean, you know, it looks like something out of a magazine. So I also believe very much, particularly what we see with successful impact investors that are focused on social, the S in ESG rather than just the environment, is that the most successful models are when you start with the people first. Who are the beneficiaries you're trying to deliver to? And you put yourself into their shoes. And once you do that, you almost reverse engineer the business model. And that's how it becomes something that's completely different. Rather than say, let me just take what's kind of the way of doing it before and adapt it somehow in an affordable fashion. That's why you end up with what you showed, I think, pictures at the beginning, which don't serve the community. So it really strikes me that this is a new way of thinking and an innovative way of thinking. But it can't be without its challenges. And I think it would be really helpful to understand a little bit some of the biggest hurdles you faced. It also struck me when you said, you showed that center and you said it's open all the time. The answer isn't to build a wall. And yet, I wonder if people are afraid to go there at the beginning because, you know, it could turn out to be not such a safe place or an attraction for maybe those who wouldn't treat it the way you envisage. But was that one of your biggest challenges, or what were some of the big hurdles you had to get over to make this successful?
Can I speak, Stefano? Because there is a comment that I would like to what Marisa said. I'm happy that you like the pictures, and the same sensation all the people visiting has yet. At the beginning, people were afraid it was not possible to sell for this price, but it is due to the large scale, because the large scale allows us to integrate smart solution services that otherwise you wouldn't be economically viable. So when I say that we are a proper company, it is because we are able to integrate technology into real estate. And we have a global research-led approach to providing the local solution. And another thing important, our relationship with the buyers does not end at the house sale. You know, in all the programs all over the world, the construction company sell the houses and everything stops. For us, it begins because we need smart community, because we have the free app for communities that for us is recurring revenues, because we will be able to sell product, services with big discounts for our inhabitants. So as Stefano said, we have two kinds of revenues: the affordable housing real estate projects, normal, and revenues from our free app with this opportunity to sell product and services. And imagine the discount that we can have, because we will have an incredible big number of inhabitants in all our projects. And more, we really generate value-added lifetime services that will be able to generate more and more revenues, and the social impact is the real core of our business. I think that what you saw make you understand that that's really where we are going. This is the right direction. And to answer you, we have a pipeline of projects very significant, because we went to launch projects totally 45,000 housing units and 36,000 land plots by 2025. So great projects.
Wow. And where are you today in terms of, so 45,000 is your objective by 2025. How many have you built today?
In this moment, here in Brazil, we have built less or more 1,000 houses, and we are a little bit later due to the COVID. This year, the construction company were closed in Brazil because we have other big projects. And same thing happened in India, that we launched in December now, 1,000 projects with great sales, and I'm very happy for this. We are advisoring also in Italy with other projects, and we have a hope this year to start launching a project in Texas, and also Stefano is there in Colombia.
So may I ask, what helps you make the decision on where to go? So I find it interesting because that's quite a broad reach of locations. What drove you to go to India and then Texas as an example?
Because these are the 5 countries, the one that I show you in my presentation: Brazil, India, Russia, China, and Nigeria, the 5 countries with the highest housing deficit. It means we need scale. So to have scale, we need a big housing deficit, or we can't work, we can't operate with the prices and the quality that I showed you. So the choice is between these kind of countries. And at the beginning, when I started with Gianni, with my co-founder, we were in the doubt between these 5 countries. And I don't know how to say, maybe Brazil was the easiest one. We are Latin, it was easier for me instead of the other one. So I decided to make the first trip here in Brazil, and it was pure love in a rapid period, and we decided to start the project here. And sorry, Stefano, please.
Yeah, but Marisa, this format is successful also in developed country. We have the example in Italy, where we have been advisory, so bringing the innovative part of the business into a real estate project. And we see that is a solution for every country. So we want to be global, and we decided to go to US as well, because we have a huge tech component to this business. Okay. And we want to be, in the country where people understand technology and how technology can be combined with social innovation and affordable housing to create this new format. This has been one of the challenges of the project, because when you have a completely new business model, which is real estate combined with tech, and to sell not only houses but also services and make impact. This is a completely disruptive business model. It takes time for people and investors to understand. So this, from my point of view, is being a big challenge. We have already found investors with myself that invested up to 100 million euros to start all of this project, but we want to enlarge the impact we are doing with more investors and probably becoming a public company could be in the near future also a solution. But it's a challenge to make people understand that this can be a profitable business model as well, and combine, as you said, impact with profitability in a very synergic way.
Yes, yes. Well, they always say that when you're innovating, it can be very lonely because you're trying to bring people along to a vision that they haven't seen before. And clearly this is something very, very different. I'm also curious, a lot of models in the affordable housing arena have some component of a public-private partnership of some sort. Is much of what you do reliant on either having some sort of arrangement with a governmental body or a municipality, or do you consider yourself truly, truly a private enterprise in every way, shape, and form? How would you?
We try to address those segments of the affordable market that can operate freely from the governmental agreement. This is because we don't want to enter into a part of the business which can be very slow, in some countries can create problems of corruption, and so on. So we want to operate really as a private company all the time, and addressing that segment of the affordable housing that in Brazil is called Minha Casa Minha Vida. The second level is a solution for this. So all of the people that maybe has their first job, and then they can pay for their houses, even a very small price, but they can pay for their dream become true.
You got a very, very specific target market in that way.
Yes.
Yeah. So also, may I ask, we couldn't be sitting here and having an all virtual conference rather than being together in Sao Paulo without asking further about the effects of COVID, not just on construction, Susanna, which you talked about, but on your actual homeowners. Obviously, everybody around the world is impacted, and we're finding that those who are at the lower economic strata are disproportionately affected by COVID. How does that impact the affordability or the ability for, I don't know if this is more of a rental model or a home ownership model, but the ability for your customers to pay?
Can I, Stefano?
Yes, of course.
Everything happened with COVID, in COVID period, show that we are on the right way. Because, as I said, connectivity is the difference. Share spare is the difference. So I don't want to say that we were okay also before COVID, but what we are doing is really what I think is correct to keep on doing. I still have not the opportunity to speak about a thing that will impact in this meaning. I spoke about digital innovation and social innovation. We work with a team of community managers. They are professionals who support residents, understand their needs and their desires, and organize activities, events, because they help us to create smart communities. So, in the period of COVID, imagine the help that this community manager gave to our communities, to our people, because sometimes, as I said, not all have the opportunity to be connected. So our community manager helped them. I think that in the future of affordable housing, we can't forget that social innovation and digital innovation will make the difference. And this will happen all over the world. I'm not speaking only about Brazil.
Well, it's interesting because we do find that
everybody in our community has a telephone. And with the Planet app, they can do everything. They can buy things, contact other people, exchange services. There is circular economy inside the communities. There are so many things. It's Susanna gave some examples, but we have more than 200 innovations that are being studied, and we are continuously studying. We have a program with United Nations Habitat in Kenya that is an experiment to bring digital innovation in the slum in Kenya. in the biggest slum that you have in Kenya, in the capital. And this is experimentation. We try to find what people need and then to bring this innovation into our projects.
I mean, it's truly, if you're solving a fundamental need, there's a resilience and a stickiness factor to that, I think, that serves you well in a downturn, because it's been remarkable, I think, models that speak to communities have actually withstood COVID quite well. Not that it's not, taking its toll on people, but I think the resiliency is something to think about, particularly when, you've gone through such a shock of a crisis. So I know that the clock is going to be our nemesis here, and we'll probably have to round out the discussion in just a few minutes. But I also wanted to ask, when you think about, say, the biggest innovations that may be on the horizon, since Stefano, you talked about it, is there something that stands out that really excites you that you're free to talk about now on the innovation side that is coming, that should be something we think about?
For planet, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. I think the opportunity to see what we have achieved is what we are expecting now, people visiting this community, because even the concept of a smart city, not speaking of affordable housing, is sometimes a concept which is a little bit abstract. We have made it. So I think and we didn't speak of a big chapter that is the environment, the architecture. There is so much to see. So our, bigger expectation now is that people can see what we are doing, and because there is a lot of innovation already, but this huge innovation is made of many small ideas put together all together into these communities.
And may I also ask for one key tenet of impact investing is that you track your goals and you measure them and report on them. You really track yourself against a target or a goal. Are there environmental goals as well as social goals that you're focused on in terms of the communities and the way you think about the business?
Yes, definitely. One of the biggest challenges for us is now to measure our impact. So we created a committee with one of our board member, Audrey Klein, and Susanna, and our chief impact officer. So we have a person dedicated to that. And the big effort is now that we want to measure the impact we do. And again, having metrics from the technology. So having an app that understands what people does, what services are used, and so on, is a perfect way to measure in an objective way the impact. So also this is a project that makes us very excited because we have a tool that is embedded in our innovation that can measure directly the impact.
Mm-hmm. And that's half the battle of telling your story, I think, as you say, with all this innovation that's happening. So, well, I'm afraid that we are running out of time now. I don't know if there's anything that we forgot to cover or missed in our conversation that you would want the audience to know, but I'll tell you my big takeaway was when you showed that last picture, Susanna, and that gentleman who works for you saying that he feels that he's changing the face of Brazil. What an amazing sort of thing to be a part of, I have to say, and my every congratulations to you, to the impact that you're making. It is, it's truly inspiring, and I'm sure it's very much so for our audience. And we wish you much, much success going forward, and we hope that scale continues. I hope that when we finally meet virtually, I can see Smart Planet City covering Brazil.
All over the world.
I don't know a few final parting words if you'd want to share with our audience.
Thank you, Marisa, e a todos aqui, obrigada, mais uma vez, obrigada.
Thank you, Marisa, for this opportunity to speak about Planet. Thank you.
It's a pleasure, and we will be delighted to connect you with those who might be interested in learning more. Thank you very much. Lovely to have you with us.
Bye-bye.